All right, just before I go out, it's pretty clear now. I want to quickly talk about, again, a little tweak, a little time's gone by, might have something else to say, about the devil's rules. I've talked about the bad apple, devil's rules, stuff like that. Now, how did I come up with the devil's rules? You can say it's download, some people might say that, but I usually get to conclusions of study, and then I've talked to Emma about it all the time, then all of a sudden you can put that piece and that piece and that piece together, and you can know things, right? It's like using your common sense, which is like getting a download, but it's an upgrade to the computer. If you put so much information together, you can get a better outcome of what you're trying to predict and stuff like that in one system, like they do in supercomputers and stuff like that. And so when it comes to devil's rules, everything has rules, because if you don't have rules and you don't update rules every now and then, right, the balance goes out, right? Because you've got to keep a balance, which I've talked about, balance and flows and how you can get more plenty of plenty. Make sure if you want to do more righteous way of the balance, more wrong way of balance. I've talked about all those things. It's a similar thing. And so when it comes to the devil and choices, right? We've got choices, and we've got our history in the Bible, and the Bible's the closest of what people have already tried to put things together. That's why the Bible's 500-year-old stories, parts, and all these things, and it gets updated as we go along, right? And it's the simple thing. If you don't, you can get left behind as well, or you can get stuck and stuff like that. And so we try to upgrade the best we can. As I've talked about, we get our priorities straight. We can get to the movies outcome that we talk about when we become star travelers and good people if you want, or bad people, right? But first, you've got to get the materials to be as plenty as possible, right? And in any way you want to fit, either the devil's way or the righteous way. And the information is just pretty much similar how the universe works and the energy works and all that kind of stuff, right? It goes together. And so with the devil's way, it's all about, if, like I've talked about before, some of this will be repeat, it's about what it can get away with, right? It's also, some of these rules are also in the good, but it's the opposite way. So with the devil, if he can trick you, manipulate you, outdo you in any sort of way and get it done so it spends less time, like we all want to do and stuff like that, become the beach walker, it becomes an success for them. They'll be happy. They'll go to bed at night, right? So if they can kill as long as they want money, if that's one of their success, right? They can go to bed at night, right? And to them, the easiest way out is just to take. You know, if it's all around, pick up the gold and take it. It's easy now. That's what was Garden of Eden when they got introduced. That's what they had, and that's what they did. And that's the choice they went, and you can hear it in the Bible and the snake and all these kind of things. It all connects, but I'm just running it down short for you. It can be explained better in books later on. So when it comes to the devil's rules, it's about how they can trick and manipulate. If you accept it, you allow it, you don't train, you don't do this, it'll do it right in your face. It likes that. So you go, it goes, look, it's your own fault. You'll hear about it speak like that. All these sectors helps you find the ranking of certain areas and how far they're into it, of what they are, right? And what the history they've had, if you can get their history. Now, when it comes to the bad side, the energy side, they like to be tricksters and hide information, because that's, to them, a way of getting an upper, right? And then on the good side, they like to share information and have more to have the same thing, the more they can get an upper, right? So they're opposites. And then there's in the middle. You can be in the middle too. There's a balance, right? And that's why there's those two, because between those two, we try to create that balance, right? And the universe works in all similar ways, like with recycling and all things. If you notice in mathematics, they speak about it, that everything has a pattern, right? And it's all, they can try to say it's all mathematics, but it's not. The universe does have many different options, and even things to keep you confused, because once you figure it out, everything, what's there to be anymore, right? And we're here to figure out everything, and so everyone to know, or on the good side, that's what happens, then there'd be no more to do, all right? And no more existence, get bored, or in the end, the evil side, you'll end up destroying everything and can't do anything, right? And so you stick to that balance until the end conclusion of that, one or the other, or a complete balance for a long time, like the dinosaurs lived, right? Until something really come in to off-switch that balance, which was a rare occasion. And so when it comes to the devil, it's pretty much, if you let it get away with it, it's going to keep doing it. And if you praise it, it's going to keep doing it. Right? Animals do it. The patterns out there do it. It's part of the energy. It's not really a being. there's so many. Another planet, you could have a creature look like the devil and have its rules, and it would be the devil, wouldn't it? And it has horns, Emma, right? Because it's not what it is. It's physically, it's what it is being. It's what it becomes. Right? What study it has, what it's been through, what it chose. Right? And they can become the devil in between a person. And in between a person is more like they can do both, and they won't pick either side. So like a person who kills for other people, some people don't like to see things get killed, but they'll eat the meat. And so you have that middle person. Because the one who doesn't want to see his meat is over here. Then you got the one who goes, oh, I love to kill, and probably just kill it in a horrible way or a fun way. Right? But this one in the middle will try his best, but it needs to be done. Keeps the balance. Right? And that happens in all fields too, once you get that. Right? So don't let the devil get into you. And if you do, you're allowing it. And then when it comes to the collective, what are you allowing collectively? You're now connected. And when you finally connect to everybody, they're the times where you can do a change. How long have we been connected for? And what change did we get when we got that connection? That helps you see something, right? To help you guide yourselves. That's why we have history. So we look back and go, what happened here? Huh? And with the devil, we also know the devil, likes to make things easy, and when he likes to take, like a rich man, they get to a point where you can't. It's like it gives you a point. It's like the economy of money, because the money is what it believes is taken now. So, and the money will give it everything it needs. Right? So once you get all the money, you don't have to worry about trying to get someone to work for you over here in it, because money's connected to all that. Right? So usually if the devil is around, or the negative is around, then you'd see them have more of all the money, the power. And power usually is money, right? Which is influencing everyone else. And then you'll get the reflection of the world in a big scale of who's winning and who's losing. And when it comes to that, at the moment, I've talked about it, we're actually, the good side is actually losing. They're finally doing a little comeback, I've noticed. But they were losing for a long time, slowly losing, doing their own thing, looking over there, being their own thing, right? But they're losing because you look at the big scale, we're losing animals, we're losing food, things getting harder, more expensive, right? And the devil's going, well, I'm still taking, they're still accepting. I haven't got to the point where I have to say, they're not knocking at my door yet, that I can be nice. Because he will do that, like in the show 300, an example, right? Where if it becomes too much of a threat, too much of an issue, and it's just easier like business to just accept them, get them to do the work and stuff like that, you go with that, and that's what he does in that meeting. He goes, I can be nice, but he's not really actually being nice, because once he gets that power and then to surrender, which is what the other country's seen him do with all the other ones, because he's getting other countries to fight that country. Right?
That's madness.
Yeah, so you see the devil and its big minions don't do anything. They get others to fight. They get you, and then when you fight, they go, ha ha, you're the one that's fighting. You're stupid then, if it's for a bad outcome. Otherwise, you should be, right?
I'll hold that in. I'm sorry.
And they feel good about it. They go, better not. Right? That's how they do it. And when it's the good, because they're not failing, they're succeeding in what they believe. Where the good couldn't do it because they're failing in what they believe. They're just sending out troops and stuff. That's why we don't do that more so much. You don't do stupid things that you know it's going to be a bad outcome. That's why we have a bit of smart brains. But if they just send you out just because they can, well, they're just doing the devil one. And then you're falling for it. Like they did in World War I a lot, aren't the trenches? Yeah, I'm about to go there. So I've got to go out there and quickly just finish this little path here, clean up some booze. They build up every now and then. It's good to give it a wash every 2 weeks to a month. Depends on how much rain you get and how much the birds clean themselves, because they've got to scrape around when it dries up their poo. So they do clean up a little bit. So the devil's rules, pretty much I've given you the basic rules from there that you can see from then on. A little bit like a rule of do unto others, do unto you. That rule can change to all sorts of perspectives. But first, that rule only works when you get one thing right. And that's why there's a lot of things that you got to get this right, just like the priorities. Huh? Otherwise, you can't teach that. That rule's there when you earn to that rule. Right? And you pass, which is like growing up. And then you can use that rule now. Now you've got common sense for the basics, you'll get the basics of that rule. Right? That's how they're meant to work, which I'll explain more. That's just one of my things I'll explain. I've explained a little bit a while back, but I can't explain too much yet. Right? But I'll quickly give you one out of what certain things mean. And the Bible talks about the same thing. And it's up to us to interpretate. It's all interpretate. Right? But once you've done this lesson, you'll get if you don't and just skip, you won't interpretate it properly. You might even have to run a little bit and stuff like that, like a person using a car, but they don't really, when it breaks down, they're like, ah! Because they didn't know the basics. They don't know the start and they skipped it. Cheaters, they would say, hey, Emma. Right? It's why we live life and share and do what we need to do. Boom.
Oh, God
Did that get you, did it? That was the pressure washer, just repressurising. Anyway, have a good one out there, and I hope you get what I mean. I try to simplise it as best I can to try to fit all levels, which is why it's good to try to explain things in different ways because certain levels might not understand, which is why I talk about a lot of my clips. If you're not in that level, try to stay out of it, really, unless, I guess you're bullies and got teams to try to do certain things, or you could live in North Korea, and there's certain circumstances. But most of the time, you're best not to get involved with things that you shouldn't when it comes to certain areas. Unless you're willing to keep going all the way. And at the moment, I've got to keep going all the way because it's like everyone likes to fuck up. We're having all these malfunctions and all these things. And I was like, when's the point where they go, oh, like that, as I've talked about in education and shit like that. I go, shit, what's going on? What's happening? And see you later because I'm going to quickly go finish off cleaning out here. And I can talk to either talk too much or don't talk at all. Right, there's a balance there. It all depends if it needs to be said and the mood I'm in. Sometimes I talk when I get upset or when something I've learned is happening or a good time to learn something, which can happen every now and then.
I just said he talks too much and he's going on about why he talks too much.
Exactly. But I just quickly do that in this clip so I don't look bad because of what you just said. Right? Because when it comes to the energy, as I've talked about, when it comes to animals and energy and tapping in, I've got a clip coming up with a few clips at once of me cleaning up today and shit. And a few theories and some things to say about things that have lived around me over time and into today and so on. Couldn't use any names, right? And show any faces or anything like that. So I've kept away from that, learning not to do any of that and try to talk about certain points. I don't do things too many times. You want to learn quite quickly, or if it's not working, try something else until you can try what you tried and then maybe perhaps try it another time or put things together. And that's just what learning's all about, isn't it? Emma? That's what learning's all about. If you want to. Or have someone to learn for you, as they say, but make sure you believe them or trust them, which I've had fights with Emma about. She's saying that, I'll let you learn it all so I can get it from you. But then we constantly argue about what I know. Yeah, but we argue about what I know and what I believe, don't you? So that theory sort of works, but it doesn't work if you don't want to listen. Right. Anyway. And then I've got to go, shit, then if you don't want to listen, then why am I learning it for you? There's some areas it sort of worked, but then there's some areas it didn't. Huh? Anyway, let me know if you've had a situation like that, people. And have a good one out there.